When you buy a tax lien or a tax deed property, you're not just getting a phenomenal deal. You're going to enter a world that'll change everything for you and your family financially. In this video, you're going to learn how you can take a small, and I mean small, un pequeño amount of money and turn it into a retirement fortress for you and your family. One of the things we're also going to discuss is how there's never enough, okay? You will never run out of liens or deeds. I should say there's always enough. That's the word I was looking for. There are over 500 to 600 sales going on every single month somewhere in the United States, and I'll show you how to sniff the best ones out in this video. Other thing you need to be aware of, there are 5 common mistakes that beginning or novice investors always make, and we're going to cover those right here in this video. And again, you know the drill. Thumbs up, make some comments on there. This is all about you. I've got hundreds of videos out there on YouTube, and it's because of you. I've got a lot of people subscribing to this thing, and I really appreciate that. And this is all designed to help you and your family hit the financial stride that you should be able to hit. Watch the videos, watch the content, change your life, hit subscribe, thumbs up, and again, comment, you guys. I answer those questions in there. So let's get right to this. How is it that a tax lien certificate is so profitable? Let's just look at the very fundamentals of this. When buying a tax lien property, when it goes all the way to foreclosure and you end up owning it, you're owning the property for a fraction of the fair market value. This is not this is completely economic proof. I do not care who gets elected president. I do not care what happens to the price of oil. I don't care what anything. We even go to the pandemic. That did not affect this market. Now, the only time I've seen anything was the pandemic when they stopped some of the sales that were happening, but it didn't stop the taxes, okay? All that did was made the deals different, okay? So economically, this is literally bulletproof. You can't say that about anything else. So not only am I getting a high rate of return, and again, that interest rate is going to be anywhere from about, 5-6% on the low side, 36% on the high side, which is kind of a misnomer. Reality with tax lien certificates that have a redemption period of 2 to 3 years are going to be between 16 and 18%. That's a rule of thumb. Now, are there outliers out there? Absolutely. Chicago is an outlier. They pay 18%, but it's every 6 months. So it's 18, 36, and it keeps going all the way up to 109%. I mean, this is unbelievable. So there's that factor. The other side of the factor is there's all of these historical things that happen with tax lien certificate that make them so bulletproof from the economy. So let's just go through those real quickly. The county's not allowed to invest in these. So the person at the county that knows most about tax lien certificates, is not allowed to invest their own money. That would be called a conflict of interest. The last person you want to talk to about investing in tax lien certificates is the county. There's 2 things. They're not allowed to give you financial advice, number 1. And number 2, they're not even allowed to make the investment. So there's a lot of things beyond their office that you need to be aware of that if you're not paying attention to, you're going to get right into that. Number 2, this is a big mistake I see people make all the time, is they just go out there and buy a lien to get their feet wet. Okay, that's like saying I'm going to run a football down a field into the end zone to see what it feels like to get a touchdown. You don't have 300-pound linemen coming in trying to kill you. That's not the same thing. Buying a lien to get your feet wet, you haven't followed through the steps. You haven't researched the property. You don't know what the foreclosure process is. You need to do this. So that would be knowing what the steps are and going through it. Number 3, you must understand the local rules and laws. Local, I didn't say state. The state is going to have their state statutes that say this is what tax liens are in our state. Every county has the right to interpret those any way they want. So in other words, they could sit there and say, okay, after a sale, we're going to offer those, the ones that didn't sell, we're going to say, oh, we're going to have a supplemental sale. We're going to have an over-the-counter sale. We're going to sell them for $200 and 30%. They can do whatever they want because they fulfilled the obligation that the state set with the statutes that said that they have to go to a sale. Once that, the kind of bets are off. So again, know how that particular county that you're looking in goes from there. This is a benefit for you, the investor. Okay? Why? Because every county is different. There's nobody out there that can systematize this. This is kind of like one of those unintended bubbles that they have around this investment. Let's just take, Georgia. Got 167 counties in Georgia. Every county does it differently. You're like, well, that's not good. Yeah, it is. Because if you're willing to put in the work for this, you're not going to have the big investment funds out there, Vanguard, all these guys that are gobbling up. I mean, as of this recording, some of the big hedge fund companies out there are purchasing, in California, 26% of all single-family residential properties. The Texas area, 28%. Georgia, 27%. Literally, the companies are becoming your competition. With this, they can't do that. So there's that little cloaking device. Like that's Star Trek. We don't like Star Trek. We like Star Wars, don't we? Anyways, it's a tractor field. I don't know what it is. It's one of those things. So it protects the investment from outside people taking up everything on that. So you must know that. Also, you must know your real estate. Okay, are you sticking with single-family residential properties? I say go for that if that's what you know. Now, if you're familiar with commercial land, stuff like that, I love those because I'm familiar with those. So I'll go with that. So you can kind of pick and choose. Here's another beautiful thing. The whole family can do this. Okay, this is not isolated to just one, say, oh, you've got to be high tech or anything else like this. Look, I'm going to date myself. Old man clock coming on here. I used to do this before there were cell phones, before there was Windows 94. Okay, all of that stuff. And the internet hasn't made it easier. It kind of has. It's made it quicker for the research, but it hasn't changed how taxes are collected. Okay, so all that's done is enabled me to do tax lien certificates from anywhere in the world. Craziest place I bought a tax lien from, I was on a boat in the Nile with my mom. We were doing I was a guest speaker there in Africa, and so we went on the Nile for this little tour. And while I was listening to the evening prayer of the Muslim deal in the background, I'm sitting there buying liens online. So you can do this anywhere in the world. So you're not restricted, especially now with all the global high speed. Let me tell you something. You can go to anywhere in the world. They're going to have high speed. They might not have a toilet, but they're going to have a high speed internet on that. So there's some advantages on there. And here's the other thing. Every property has a tax lien or a tax deed. So here's another thing. When you start your business, and I highly recommend functioning this as a business. I got a whole video on that. Okay, everywhere you go becomes a tax deductible opportunity. I'm working with some young people on this right now, and he started, one of my students, he's 24 years old, he starts going, wait a second, everything I do now becomes a tax deductible item. I said, darn right, you're looking at real estate. So a portion of your vehicle, when you go on trips, when you go over and you're looking at properties in Hawaii, they happen to be going to Hawaii. Guess what? Hawaii has a tax deed sale every single year. All of those things, conduct business, do real estate. The last thing that you want to be aware of when you're looking at tax lien certificate, I got some more coming up after this, but when you're looking at them, you've got to understand what your objective is. Most people go in this saying, we're going to go back to buy a lien, just get your feet wet. They say, oh, I just want to just buy something and get it rolling on it. Know what your financial outcome is. So if you say, hey, I want to replace my job's income, okay, that's cool. Then let's figure out what that is. And let's say it's, $150,000. You want to replace $150,000. I want to start with my students with that objective, not I want to get a lien. Because if you're looking to just buy a property, this is probably not for you. Go find another channel somewhere. I'm looking for somebody that wants to change your life financially. I don't know how to teach you how to do a deal. I know how to teach you how to do deals so that provide you financial freedom. That's the key. In fact, I've got a brand new video. I'm so proud of this right now. Okay, free. It's to you. Brand new training. Okay, it goes into detail on how to line this up, what a tax lien, how to set your whole thing up. Just go to higginsmethod.com down below. And for those of you that go through that training, I'll also send you out a brand new book, America's Best Kept Secret Investment Strategy in the United States Today. I'll get all that out to you. God bless, good luck, and be careful out there.